Welcome to the Gospel Sleep, a peaceful corner made just for you. If your heart feels weary, if your thoughts won't quiet down, if you've been lying awake, trying to find peace, you've come to the right place. Tonight, let go of everything that burdens you. You don't need to be strong right now. You don't need to figure it all out. You only need to rest in God's presence. As you listen, imagine sitting beside a gentle fire under the night sky. The air is cool, the stars are bright, and the Word of God flows softly around you like the sound of a river. Each verse whispers truth into your heart. Be still and know that I am God. Let those words wash over your thoughts and calm the storm within. Here, in this moment, God meets you right where you are in your exhaustion, in your fears, in your sleepless nights. He's not waiting for you to be perfect. He's simply inviting you to rest. Every video on this channel is created to help you find that sacred stillness to breathe, to reflect, and to fall asleep in peace. So whenever life feels overwhelming, open godly sleep and let the spirit of calm surround you. If you haven't already, please subscribe and be part of our loving community of believers who rest together in His Word each night. Share these moments with others who might need peace too. Together, we can create a haven of calm where everyone is reminded you are loved, you are safe, and God is near. Now, take one more deep breath, exhale, and rest. You're exactly where you're meant to be in the gentle arms of peace. I welcome a quiet with a soft voice. I lower the lamp by the window. The evening settles like a warm blanket. The world outside fades to a hush. Inside this room, light is gentle and steady. Silence wraps around us. Not heavy, but kind. I ask for a small trust. Settle where you are. Let the body soften into the chair or bed. Rest the hands. Drop the shoulders. Notice the little sounds of the house. A clock. A distant car. The breath of someone asleep. The rhythm of the room becomes a companion. We follow it for a moment. I speak in a slow cadence. Each sentence rests. Each pause gives space. Breathe with me now. Inhale slowly. Fill the lungs like a quiet tide. Pause. Let the breath fall away like a leaf. Repeat this gentle motion 2 more times. One steady inhale, one calm exhale. The breath makes the space inside easier to bear. I name the weight you may be carrying. It is okay to set it down. At least for now, weariness, worry, the small, sharp things that press on the chest, place them on the table beside you. Picture them as stones. Lay them down. We do not abandon them. We simply give them a rest for this hour. I invite a simple picture. Imagine a room with a window facing east. Morning light will come. For now, the stars are bright. A small lamp glows on the table. A cup of warm tea waits. Untouched, the air smells faintly of cedar and old paper. A book leaves open. Its page ready. This place is ours for this short time. We do not hurry. I share a gentle truth that calms the mind. God's presence is not loud. It does not arrive in thunder. It comes like a hush that settles over a room. It comes like fingers on a tired hand. It comes in the quiet places where hearts breathe out. Let this thought be a soft anchor. Let it hold the edges of the day. I speak of mercy as a steady thing. Mercy is not earned tonight. Mercy is given like a lamp handed to a traveler. It lights the path one step at a time. Mercy knows our small faults and keeps smiling. It remembers the times we feel lost and does not keep score. Let that mercy feel near. Let it ease the brow and loosen the jaw. I pull in an image from a familiar scene. Think of a shepherd at dusk. The flock gathers, one by one, and the shepherd counts each animal with a careful eye. Nothing is too small to notice. Nothing is forgotten. The shepherd's staff rests easily in the hand. The flock breathes as one. We imagine ourselves among those sheep, safe in that careful watch. There is no rush. All is tended. I read a line from Scripture, not as a lesson, but as a lullaby. Picture a promise spoken like a quiet lamp in the night. The words say that strength comes to the weary and rest to the tired. They do not rush our healing. They invite us to lean into care. Let these words wash over the shoulders. They smooth the lines of the face. They soften the jaw. I offer an image of a stream. Water moves, slow and bright. Stones sit in its bed and are not bothered by the passing. The stream does not judge the stones. It simply moves, carrying light and coolness. Our worries are like leaves in that stream. They drift. They do not bind us. Watch them go for a moment. Let the mind follow a single leaf until it disappears around a bend. I encourage quiet gratitude, not as a list, but as a soft turning of the heart. Notice one small good thing from today. It might be a warm cup, a kind word, a small victory. Hold it up like a tiny lantern. Let that light mingle with the larger mercy we have imagined. Gratitude is not a demand. It is a gentle facing toward what kept us going. I ask to notice the body with kindness. Scan from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Allow each part a small permission to relax. The forehead releases. The jaw unclenches. The shoulders drop a fraction more. The hands rest open. The legs let go. Each release is a statement. Rest is allowed tonight. I remind that hope is a simple thing. It does not roar. It breathes. Hope sits at the bedside, patient and unhurried. It does not demand perfection. It keeps watch through the small hours. When sleep comes, hope is beside us like a steady companion. We let that companion stay. I describe a mental ritual for the coming minutes. Picture a candle that burns down slowly. With each breath, the flame shortens a little. The room grows darker, but the glow remains warm. As the flame dips, worries lose their sharp edges. We do not snuff out thought. We let it soften. The candle does not burn the skin. Its light soothes. I hold a short reflection on forgiveness that calms rather than explains. Forgiveness is a quiet untying. It loosens the knots that pull on the heart. It is not forgetting. It is allowing the soul space to breathe again. Offer that untying now. Even if it is small, let it ease you like an unfastened strap. I guide a simple act of surrender. Take a single worry and imagine placing it into both hands. Then turn those hands gently to the center of the room. Release. Let the worry feel the floor beneath it. It stays there for the night. We will not drag it to the pillow. Surrender is not loss. It is relief. I bring in a gentle image of home. There is a table at which a light sits. A door is never locked to mercy. The chair waits. The room smells faintly of bread. We are invited to sit. Being present here is enough. There is no list to complete. Rest is the work for this hour. I ask us to listen for a familiar phrase that soothes the mind. The phrase speaks of peace like water and faith like a steady hand. It is not a demand. It is a promise of care. Let it sink into the muscles. Let it rest behind the ribs. Let it whisper where words cannot reach. I place a soft emphasis on small acts that bring comfort. A warm blanket. A slow song. The texture of a pillow. The weight of a familiar book. These small things hold a kind of holiness. They remind us that the world still carries gentle beauty, even in tired seams. Let the hands find something soft to touch. I remind that rest is allowed even in incomplete days. Unfinished things do not have power here. They are like unopened letters stacked on a bench. They will wait. For now, the bench is safe and still. Let the unfinished breathe with us for a while. I ask the mind to name a single hope for tomorrow. Not a full plan, just one small light. Perhaps a step. Perhaps a smile. Keep that light small enough to carry with ease. Let it be a quiet guide, not a heavy burden. Tuck it into the pocket of the evening. I suggest a simple posture of thanks, not elaborate, but sincere. Offer one quiet thanks for the moment of calm. Offer it like a small coin passed to a companion. Let the coin clink and be warm in the hand. That clink marks the turning of attention from the day to rest. I give a soft assurance about sleep. Sleep is not a failure of will. It is an act of trust. The eyes close and the heart steps back. Healing often comes while the body rests. The mind does not have to solve each problem tonight. Let it rest in the hush. I imagine a path in the dark that glows faintly underfoot. We walk it slowly. A presence walks beside us, neither loud nor distant. It keeps pace. It keeps watch. There is no hurry. Breathing guides the steps. The path is steady and true. I invite a simple closing. Stay here in this stillness. Keep the lamp low. Let the breathing slow. Let the hands feel weightless. When sleep comes, let it come like rain that wets the soil and quiets the dust. When waking arrives, let it find us with gentle light. I promise to read a short passage from Scripture now. In a calm voice, the words will be chosen to comfort. They will not argue. They will not burden. They will hold a promise of mercy and rest. Prepare the ears to receive a few lines, as if they were a lullaby. I lower my voice another degree. The room leans in. The edges of thought blur. We are ready for the word to be read. Tonight, we will listen together and let the words do their quiet work. The pace will remain unhurried. The tone will stay gentle. Now, we turn the page and attend. I turn the page with a careful hand. The lamp throws a softer pool of light. The room leans closer. Breath slows again. I speak now of a gentle truth. It is short and steady. It asks little, but offers much. I tell of vulnerability not as failure, but as an open hand. The apostle speaks to a weary heart and says that grace is enough. In the place where strength is not our own, something steadier arrives. I paraphrase this gently so ears can rest on the meaning. When weakness is honest, a different kind of strength comes quiet, patient, mending what is frayed. I do not ask for explanations. I only invite watching. Picture a small boat at dusk. The oars are tired in the hands. The body is not built for rowing forever. A harbor light calls. A steady rope slips into the palm. The rope is not a shame. It is a help. To hold it is not defeat. It is acceptance. The harbor does not ask for a perfect sailor. It welcomes the one who comes with tired arms. I guide a simple practice for this moment. Choose one soft thing to name. Let it be small enough to hold without strain. Call it by a single word, perhaps worry, or tiredness, or a quiet age. Place that word lightly in both hands. Feel the weight. Do not push it away. Do not try to make it vanish. Let the palms tell the truth about the shape of it. Breathe in while acknowledging the weight. Breathe out while imagining a warm hand resting over the palms. The first breath notices. The second breath receives. Repeat this twice more. Each cycle is a small permission. The chest loosens a fraction. The shoulders settle like a sail finding a calm. I draw another image. Imagine a clay pot with a crack. The crack admits light. Someone fills that crack with gold. Not to hide the break, but to honor what was fragile and brave enough to keep holding water. The gold is not pride. It is care. It says that the vessel matters, even with seams. Vulnerability becomes part of the pot's beauty. The light that comes through the crack warms the room. I encourage a quiet naming of needs. Speak them silently. Let the list be brief. One line, one sentence, no argument, no defense, just the truth of what sits near the heart. When need is named, it loses some of its sharpness. It becomes a thing we can set beside the lamp, not a thing that crawls under the pillow. I read softly. The words I read are not meant to weigh the mind. They are a small anchor. I paraphrase the promise again in a voice that could be a whisper. Grace is not a reward for strength. It is company for the weak. Power sometimes comes to us, like a blanket put over shivering shoulders, not to call out where the chill came from, but to offer warmth. Let that thought rest in the torso. Let it soften the ribs. I invite a posture of surrender that is not dramatic. Sit or lie with the head supported. Fold the hands loosely. Pretend the palms are a little nest. Place the chosen thing into that nest. Turn the nest upward and let a steady presence, imagined as a gentle light, fall into the hands too. The light does not take the thing away. It sits with it. Coexistence, not erasure, is the design. Breath continues as a slow metronome. Inhale for 4 counts. Pause for 2. Exhale for 6. Allow the exhale to be longer than the inhale. Let the longer out-breath tell the nervous system that pace is lowered. In each exhale, picture strength, like a thin thread winding through the palms and up into the chest. The thread is warm. It does not push. It supports. I speak about tenderness. Weakness often feels exposed. Tenderness is the opposite of exposure. It is a covering that respects fragility. Imagine a wool shawl draped across the shoulders. The shawl was not earned. It was laid there by someone who saw the cold and acted. Receive it without needing to justify why it was offered. I keep the tone without sermon. No need for heavy words. The heart responds to small things. A single light placed on a table changes the entire room. A hand laid on a brow steadies a fevered night. In this way, vulnerability becomes an invitation for kindness to act. I offer a quiet realignment of posture. Bring attention to the space between the collarbones. That space is a small hollow where the chest can rise and settle. Let the shoulders fall again. A small loosen allows the breath to widen a little. The breath finds more room. The fragile thing in the palms remains safe. I ask to imagine the presence of a faithful companion. This companion is not distant. The companion sits on the other side of the table. There is no urgency in their gaze. No tally is kept. Hands rest on the knees. The companion's attention is simple and whole. It is enough to have company in weariness. The presence gives permission to be what is true. I then recount a short pastoral picture. A tree in winter sheds leaves and stands barer than in summer. Yet the root grows quietly, steady under the soil. The tree's exposed branches do not mean it is dying. They mean it is choosing rest. In the same way, periods of weakness can be the seasons where unseen strength is built. Roots deepen in the dark. I encourage gentle honesty toward others. There is a small courage in saying, for instance, that help is needed, not a proclamation, only a quiet request. The words might come in a whisper or a note. The content is plain. The result is not always dramatic. Many hands answer in small ways, a dish of soup, a returned call, a brief walk. These acts add up. They create a soft network around the heart. I bring the mind back to Scripture as a lullaby. The words I place here are not a test. They are a quilt. When read slowly, they fit the contours of the chest. I will speak a few lines now, in a voice meant for sleep. They are a paraphrase, offered calmly. My grace meets where need is clearest, in places of broken strength. A steady power rests. Receive that without hurry. Let the meaning soak into the bones. After the paraphrase, I let silence hold a long beat. The silence is not empty. It is like the space between notes in a slow song. In that space, the heart arranges itself. Allow the quiet to be wide enough for whatever stirs. I then invite a visual of hands. Place both hands. palm to palm. Without pressure, the contact is warm. Slowly separate them a little and make room enough for a small light. Imagine the light is the kind that understands both darkness and fragility. It does not judge the size of what sits in the hands. It warms it sufficiently for rest. I suggest an act of tiny courage. Tomorrow morning, if it feels right, name one small thing aloud to someone trusted. Not a confession of failure, a sharing of need. Keep the steps small and specific. Perhaps ask for a cup of tea or a short walk. These small acts teach the body that vulnerability is workable, that it brings help rather than only exposure. I guide toward a restful closure of this section. Lay the hands back to rest. Allow the chosen word, the soft thing, to remain somewhere safe in the room. Picture a small basket on the table where it can sit until morning. The basket is not a prison. It is a shelf. The day does not have to carry it through the night. I offer a quiet benediction that is simple and steady. Be gentle with what is fragile. Let the presence of grace be a companion tonight. Trust that weakness does not ward off help. Instead, it often invites it. That concern is a gift, not a punishment. I close with a soft instruction. When the lamp grows dimmer, listen again to your breath. Let it be a reminder that vulnerability and strength can breathe together. Let the resting heart accept both. Tomorrow will bring many small tasks. Tonight, permission to be small is enough. Now, with hands eased and the room attentive, I will read a short passage from Scripture. I read slowly, as if the words are a lullaby meant to sink into sleep. Each line rests like a hand on the shoulder. Each pause opens space for the promise to sit. Listen, and let the meaning be gentle. We stay here for a while, breathing together, letting the quiet do its work. I lift the book a little higher. The lamp throws a narrow pool of light. The pages are warm under my fingers. I name the part we come to now, the light of forgiveness. I speak slowly. Each word rests. Forgiveness is a lamp that shows small things clearly. It does not shout. It offers a path. A passage from Scripture comes to mind in a gentle paraphrase. Do not judge. Give mercy. Forgive, and you will find forgiveness in return. I lay those words softly here, not as a test, but as a simple invitation. They sit like a small candle on the table. The flame is narrow and steady. I tell a little story that fits the mood. Imagine a window at dawn. A sliver of light slips in and touches a dusty shelf. The dust lifts where the light hits. The room does not become empty of dust. Instead, a small place becomes clear. Forgiveness works much like that. It does not erase memory. It simply clears a corner so that peace can sit there. We often carry heavy things into bed. Names and phrases, sharp images, the replay of an unfair word. Those things crowd the pillow and make sleep uneasy. Forgiveness is not about pretending. Those moments did not happen. It is about setting them where they no longer press on the throat. I guide a gentle exercise. Close the eyes if that feels safe. Breathe slowly. Picture a small stone in the palm. The stone is a single hurt. It is not all the hurts, just one. Feel its weight. Notice its texture. Give it a name if that helps. Hold it without judgment. Now picture a narrow beam of light traveling across the room. The beam is steady and warm. It meets the stone and surrounds it. The light is not hot. It is tender. It does not dissolve the stone immediately. Instead, it changes how the stone sits in the hand. The edges soften. The surface warms. The palm no longer grips so tightly. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. With each exhale, let the fingers relax a little more. Let the hand open. Let the stone rest on the table beside the lamp. The stone is not lost. It is merely in a different place for the night. Forgiveness sometimes looks like that slow light. A small act, a movement that begins at the edges. It asks for no performance. It does not demand that memory be rewritten. It only changes the relationship to what happened. The hurt remains a fact. The posture toward it becomes softer. There is a particular freedom that comes when judgment loosens. To judge is to hold a scale. The scale takes energy. It requires attention and rehearsed reasons. When judgment drops, the hands become free. They can fold in rest. They can cup a cup of tea. They can hold a thin book without clenching. Forgiveness gives that freedom. It is not a careless forgetting. It is a deliberate unburdening. Picture a traveler who sets a pack down beside a quiet stream. The pack sits there on the bank. The traveler sits and watches the water. The pack does not vanish. It is simply not carried across the next mile. I speak of mercy as close kin to forgiveness. Mercy leans toward the one who stumbles. It does not tally errors. It offers a hand that steadies. The mercy that we accept can then move through us. We do not keep mercy to ourselves. It moves outward like warm light. Sometimes forgiveness begins as an inward act. There is no need for calls or confrontations. A soft prayer spoken under the breath is enough. Ask for help to see the person through a dimmer lens. Ask for the ability to loosen the hold of the memory. This is not about condoning harm. It is about choosing rest over continued rumination. I suggest a small, practical thing for the morning. If it feels right, write 1 sentence. Not for judgment, not for proof. Just 1 sentence about the hurt that names it, and then releases it into the page. Fold the paper and place it in a small dish. In the evenings for a week, look at that dish. Let the paper sit without needing to be acted upon. This tiny ritual teaches the body that words can be placed down. I bring a pastoral image now. A garden efter Rhein. The soil is soft. Fallen leaves lie in neat piles where the gutter once clogged. A gardener takes a small rake and moves them aside. The path becomes clear. The garden does not forget the leaves. The gardener simply makes a way for the next step. Forgiveness acts like that rake. It clears enough space to take a breath and to plant again. There is also courage in gentleness. Forgiveness is not always instant. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it must be visited in small stages. One night, the stone moves from the hand to the table. The next night, it slides to the shelf. A week later, it might rest under a cloth without being touched. Each movement is a kind thing, done slowly. I keep the tone quiet and sure. no pressure. No step is demanded. The invitation is to consider a light and to see what it does. The effect often surprises. Harshness tends to echo. Softness absorbs. Mercy absorbs and reshapes. Picture now a small lantern outside an open door. The lantern is swung gently along the path. The light brushes the faces of those coming and going. It does not judge them. It marks their way. Seeing them in that light reveals both the worn and the beautiful. Forgiveness gives that kind of view. If someone cannot be forgiven openly, forgiveness can still be practiced privately. The heart can release its claim to retaliation. The hands can loosen the remembered grip. The mind can repeat a short, quiet phrase, may peace come. This is not a magic formula. It is a reorientation of hope, a small recalibration toward rest. I remind that forgiveness often benefits the forgiver more than the forgiven. The body relaxes. The sleep deepens. Worry withdraws from the ribs. This is not to minimize the hurt. It is only to state the simple truth that unburdening makes room inside for gentler things. I offer a brief image of feet stepping onto a wooden floor. The floor creaks softly. The steps are slow and careful. The person carries a small satchel of memories. At the doorway, a hand reaches out and accepts the satchel. The hand does not open it. It simply takes it and places it upon a bench. The person exhales. The night is still. Forgiveness is that bench. There will be mornings that return the memory to the front of the mind. That is expected. Forgiveness is a practice, not a single completion. When such a morning comes, use the breath. Return to the image of the stone and the lamp. Relight the narrow beam. Make small movements. Repeat the gentle work. Now I prepare to read a short paraphrase from Scripture. Softly. The words are an offering, not an argument. They remind that mercy given often returns. They say, simply do not judge. Give mercy. Forgive. And you will be forgiven. Accept this as a lullaby. Let it settle in the chest like a small, warm stone. I speak the paraphrase with a low voice. Each line moves slowly. Each pause is long enough for the heart to answer. The pace is unhurried. The tone remains tender. After the reading, I hold silence for a little while. The silence is a wide space. It holds the images we have made. It lets the small lamp glow without competition. Use this silence to notice what shifts. Perhaps the jaw unclenches. Perhaps the breath gains a beat of ease. These changes are quiet but real. I close this section with a short practice for sleep. Lay one hand over the heart. Lay the other hand over the first. Imagine a small light between the palms. Let that light be forgiveness in its simplest form, a willingness to release one weight for the night. The light warms the palms. The breath falls into a steady rhythm. Be gentle if the image does not feel true right away. There is no deadline. The night invites patience. Tomorrow brings small chances to continue. The lamp in the room burns a little lower now. The pages lie almost flat. I end with an assurance. Forgiveness does not make everything right overnight. It does make a place for rest. It allows mercy to be practiced in small ways. Let the mind keep this thought as a companion. Let the hands rest. When sleep comes, let it come like a tide, steady and patient. Now, with the light soft and the page warm, we remain here for a while. The room breathes with us. The promise of mercy holds. The lamp's glow keeps the space gentle. When it feels time, we will move on to the next quiet truth. For now, let forgiveness be the thin thread that eases the chest. Let it hold the night. I turn the page again. The lamp keeps a small circle of warmth. The house breathes evenly. I name this next truth softly. The gift of grace. Grace arrives like a parcel left at the door. No knocking. No list of accomplishments is required. It rests on the mat. It waits without condition. I lift it gently. The wrapping is plain. The touch is light. I speak slowly. Grace is not something bought. It is not a response to a ledger. It is given. It comes without a receipt. When the heart expects a bargain, grace offers rest instead. That rest is a kind of permission. Permission to be held when effort is spent. Permission to be loved when achievements are few. I offer a quiet image. Imagine an old cottage in a cold season. A neighbor fills the woodbox at the back door. The house does not send a bill. The hands that receive do not tally a score. The warmth arrives, and the person inside breathes easier. The gift makes room for sleep. The gift does not shame the receiver. It simply warms. There is another image I keep for nights like this. A child holds out a small, crumpled drawing. The giver does not measure the art by gallery standards. The giver sees the hand that made it and smiles. The drawing becomes treasure. So is grace. It esteems the hand that gives and the hand that receives. No audit is necessary. I guide a small practice. Rest the hands on the knees or the blanket. Turn the palms upward. Let them be open, as if to receive a soft thing. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. With each out-breath, imagine a warm light falling into the hands. The light is gentle. It does not demand. It simply rests. Allow the light to form into a small object in the palms. Perhaps a pebble smooth from a river. Perhaps a ribbon-wrap token. It carries one single message. You are enough. Hold it for a moment. Feel the weight. Notice any surprise that comes with receiving. Some worry likes to measure gives and takes. Let that measuring fall quiet for now. Grace moves differently from merit. Merit keeps a list. Merit asks for more labor. Grace places a hand on the shoulder and says, "Be still." This stillness is not laziness. It is a deep breathing of the soul. In the silence that follows, strength tends to return in its own time. I remind myself of a gentle truth that calms the mind. Faith often looks like reaching for the hand offering the gift. That reach is not a work to prove worth. It is a small act of trust. Trust is quiet. It is not a loud announcement. It is the slow leaning of the head on a pillow that someone steadies. I let a passage from Scripture settle in my voice, shaped as a lullaby. The words are pared down. They are not law. They are an invitation. They suggest that rescue arrives by means not earned, and that receiving is part of the rest. I speak them slowly, allowing each phrase to land like a soft footstep. When the sentence finishes, I hold a long silence. The silence is a pool. In it, the token in the palms may shift. Maybe a seam opens. The token reveals a simple word. Mine is a short word tonight. Enough. The word is not a demand. It is a place to rest. I suggest a small, ordinary way to remember this gift. Choose one object in the room, a spoon, a stone, a bookmark. Place it where the morning light will find it. When dawn comes, let that object remind the body to accept the kindness that appears. These small anchors help the heart practice receiving without condition. There are nights when accepting feels impossible. Pride tightens the jaw. History counts failures like pebbles. If acceptance resists, try a different posture. Lie down and put a hand over the chest. Let the other hand rest over the first. This double warmth is a small pledge. Imagine grace as a thin cloth laid across the heart. It does not press. It lifts. I hold a pastoral image. A gardener waters seedlings regardless of what they have done. The water does not inspect. It moistens the root, and the seedling drinks. The gardener does not demand repayment. The act allows growth. So grace waters. It does not wait for the plant to perform. It provides the conditions for flourishing. I keep the tone quiet here. No argument, no heavy theology. The thought is simple. Grace gives. Receiving is an act of peace. It restores lungs to the rhythm of rest. The chest loosens. The shoulders lower. The body remembers that rest is not weakness. I offer a practice for tomorrow morning. Awake gently. Before the rush begins, place a single hand to the face or the heart. Whisper a short phrase, such as, I will receive grace today. Keep it small. Say it once. Let it sit. The phrase is not a formula for success. It is a soft training for the heart. I also encourage a tiny physical habit. Keep a small cloth or ribbon near the bedside. When the moment comes to accept gentleness, help from a friend, a kind word, a delayed task, touch the cloth. Let this motion be a reminder that receiving takes no crime but courage. The courage is quiet. It says yes to help. There is a common worry I meet often. What if receiving feels like depending? Dependence is not always a fault. Dependence can be a human form of trust. The sky depends on rain. The soil depends on the stream. Accepting help can be an acknowledgement that life is woven. The fabric of care requires threads from many hands. I speak about dignity here. Grace respects it. The gift does not reduce a person's worth. It affirms it. That affirmation is soft. It leaves space for growth and recovery. It does not strip agency. It restores a kind of freedom, the freedom to rest and then to rise again, without the burden of proving worth. I ask us to imagine a brief scene at a bedside. A lamp glows low. A person offers a blanket without speaking. The offer is simple. The receiver nods. not out of obligation, but from relief. The blanket covers shoulders. The chill fades. The world simplifies to warmth and breath. In that soft space, the soul can breathe and repair. I avoid scholarly language. I prefer the plainness of bedside acts. A pot of tea warmed without request. A letter written and left by someone who noticed the struggle. A chair pulled near for company. These acts are grace in motion. They teach the body to accept rest. I invite another breathing exercise now. Breathe in slowly. As the air fills the lungs, picture the gift again in the hands. Breathe out and imagine the gift settling into the chest like a small ember. The ember radiates a measured heat. It is not a blaze. It is enough to thaw the clenched parts. Not everyone will feel a warm glow at once. That is natural. The heart takes time. Be patient like a quiet field waiting for spring. The first shoots appear without hurry. Keep the lamp low. Keep the breath long. I offer a practical way to receive grace in community. If there is a trusted friend, try saying one short sentence of need. No long story, no rehearsal. Just the small truth. A brief admission invites a brief kindness. Often that kindness is enough to begin the easing. I return briefly to the paraphrase of Scripture. I speak it again, but slower still. This time, let the cadence be even gentler. Let each phrase sink like a soft stone into the pond of attention. The ripples move outward. They do not need to be explained. They only need to be noticed. After speaking, I give space. I do not rush to fill silence. The silence becomes a room where grace might arrive again. Perhaps the hands unclench. Perhaps the jaw softens. Perhaps the mind, which has been cataloguing worthiness, pauses to let the gift exist. I suggest a final nightly action. Place the imagined token, real or visual, on the bedside table. See it there as an emblem of receiving. When hands reach for sleep, they see the token and remember permission. Permission to rest without ledger. Permission to be enough as is. For tonight, I keep the ending deliberate. The lamp on the table dips lower. The breath in the room slows. I fold the book and rest my palm over its cover for a moment. The page we have touched together is small, not exhaustive. The idea is simple and kind. Grace is given. Receiving is restful. I close this part as I will close the others. A short, slow benediction. Let grace find a place in the chest. Let it do its quiet work. There is no hurry for answers. For now, let the body soften. Let the mind accept rest as a gift, not an achievement. Soon, we will turn the page to another quiet truth. For now, hold the light in the palms. Breathe slowly. Rest is allowed. The night keeps watch. The gift sits softly beside the lamp. When it is time, we will read again. I ease the cover back down. The room is quiet enough that a page turn sounds like a small wing beat. Tonight I bring a simple invitation into the space. It comes from a passage that asks the weary to come and rest. The promise is plain. It does not demand a performance. It offers a place to lay burdens down. I speak slowly. The words move like low waves. There is an invitation to come where shoulders may unbunch, where hands can open, where the heart finds relief from carrying too many things at once. The voice that offers this rest is steady, not hurried. It asks only that the tired come. Find a place to settle. Make the body comfortable. If a pillow supports the neck, let it be there. If a chair holds the back, rest into it. If the bed welcomes, yield to its gentle pull. Allow the jaw to ease. Let the shoulders drop another fraction. The breath already knows the path. Follow it. Imagine now a wide meadow at dusk. The grass is soft, not prickly. A hammock hangs between two trees. It is low and close to the earth. The hammock catches the last of the warm air. Lying there feels like being gently cupped. Above, the sky keeps slow watch. There is room enough on the hammock for the weight that has become heavy of late. Choose one small worry tonight. Name it in your mind. Keep it short. Give it a single line. Perhaps it is a word. Perhaps a feeling. Let the label be thin. Hold it up for a second and notice how it feels to say it without argument. In the meadow, there is a quiet person who watches the trees. This presence is not a judge. It stands with open hands. Walk toward that figure with the chosen worry cupped between both palms. You do not need to plead or explain. You only need to transfer the weight. Place the worry into the open hands offered to you, and feel the immediate small relief of letting go. The palms close and keep it softly. The tension in the shoulders loosens as the arms relax. Breathe in now for 4 counts. The air moves in cool and steady. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. With the exhale, imagine your arms releasing. The hammock rocks a little. The grass murmurs. The worry is not erased. It is relocated. It sits elsewhere, where it will not press against sleep. There is a gentle exchange in this scene. You hand over a burden. You receive a rest in its place. That rest is not earned. It arrives like a soft blanket laid across the laps of those who have been carrying too long. Receiving it is an act of the will that feels like a permission. If naming a single worry feels too sharp, try a softer shape. Picture a sack with a tiny hole. Each worry slips through that hole and falls into a shallow stream beneath the hammock. Watch the water take whatever drips down and carry it away in slow, deliberate motion. Notice the way the chest feels when the sack is finally lighter. The air feels a touch cleaner. The ribs expand a little more easily. There is no hurry to make everything right. Rest does not fix all things in a night. It begins the work of repair by giving the body and mind a pause. Imagine a pot laid in the sun. The heat does not remake the clay instantly. It warms it gently, so the hands that work tomorrow can be more sure. This is the kind of repair sleep often begins. I guide a small practice for bedtime. Place a hand over the heart. Let the other hand rest above it like a soft lid. Breathe slowly. With each breath, say a short phrase inside. No loud words. No debate. Something like, I will lay this down tonight. Repeat it 2 more times. Let the phrase act as a hinge. Each time it moves, a small slot of relief opens. Now imagine a narrow bridge across a cool stream. On one side of the bridge are the many tasks and anxieties that follow a day. On the other side is rest. Walk to the middle of the bridge. Feel the slight give beneath the feet. Pause. Drop the gaze to the water and send a single burden downstream. Notice how the shoulders drop as the weight slides away. Keep walking across. The other side is close. Step onto it slowly. Stand still. Receive the quiet. There is a tender mercy in the image of a hand that does not push but steadies. Sometimes the rest offered comes as a companion who sits with the silence beside you. That companion's presence matters less than its steadiness. It does not try to fix things. It simply keeps time with breath. Consider sameness as gentleness. Let the sameness press out sharp edges. When sleep resists, use the breath like an anchor. Draw the air down into the belly. Let the chest soften as the breath falls out. Time the exhale slightly longer than the inhale. This pattern tells the nervous system that the body is in a safe space. The pulse eases. Thoughts drift without being urgent. The hammock rocks, and the eyes feel heavier. If worries insist on returning, provide them a small ritual. Keep a notebook or a scrap of paper beside the bed. Before sleep, name the worry in one sentence and place the paper beneath a stone or a small object. The act of putting the words down is a way of handing them over twice, first onto the paper, then into the care of the night. The stone is a marker that says tonight. This is not carried. There is a gentle truth to remember. Rest is not avoidance. It is a trust that the mind cannot bear everything at once. A body that is rested thinks more clearly. A heart that has lain down can act with more mercy in the morning. This trust is small and plain. It asks only that tired limbs be allowed to let go. Sometimes, sleep arrives as a slow tide. It creeps up on the ankles, then the knees, then the waist, if the tide feels far. Accept small signs of progress. A relaxed jaw, a blink slower than before, a thought that no longer lights up like a flare. These changes are tiny victories. They are the practice of rest. Keep a single promise in the mind as a talisman tonight. It is not a slogan. It is a quiet truth. There is a place for rest when weariness is real. Let this promise sit like a guidepost at the bedside. It does not need to change circumstances. It changes the posture toward them. It allows the hands to relax from the work of relentless keeping. I read a few words from the passage now. Softly, the language will be quiet, shaped for sleep rather than argument. It extends the same invitation we have been holding. Come if you are weighed down, and find rest. Hear it as the hush of a room settling, not as a task. Let it be a lullaby that moves toward the ribs and eases the breath. After the reading, remain in stillness for a long beat. These pauses are important. The mind learns through spacing. In the space, an old worry may lose its charge. In the space, a softer trust can settle like dew. Stay with the quiet. Watch the breath lengthen its out-breath. Watch the shoulders give up another degree of tightness. If sleep still delays, imagine a slow, steady clock that counts in gentle intervals. Each tick is a careful breath. With each tick, the body grows a fraction calmer. The hands open a hair more. The eyelids drift. The quiet accumulates like snow in a field, making a hush that the world recognizes as night. Offer a final, small prayer without urgency. It may be only a single sentence, said in silence. Keep the language simple. Ask for the rest that is promised. Ask for the ability to lay down what cannot be carried at this hour. Let the prayer be brief, like a hand raised for a light to be dimmed. Before sleep finally arrives, place the imagined burdens somewhere safe in the mind's landscape. A low shelf in the meadow, a bench by the bridge, a small box beneath the trees. These places are not prisons. They are assigned spaces for things that need to wait. Trust that they will be there come morning. And that morning's light will help sort what must be carried on. I let the book rest on my lap for a moment. The lamp is low. The room breathes in time with the last section. The page is warm, and the night leans in. When it feels right, the eyes will close. The body will find its own rhythm. The promise of rest stands ready like a familiar road. We stay here for a little while longer in silence. Let the breath keep time. Let the heart learn again that laying down is allowed. The next page waits. When a new truth is needed, the cover will lift again. For now, receive the rest that is offered. Let it hold the night. I turn the page and let the lamp settle into a gentler glow. The house exhales. The night moves like a slow breath. Tonight I speak of a hush that is not empty. It is a peace offered from beyond the rush. It is the kind of calm that slips in like a soft note and stays. The voice in the room is low. The speech is slow. There is no need to prove anything. The point is simple. Peace is given in a way the world cannot copy. The world promises quiet by clearing noise. This peace steadies the chest. It answers the places inside where fear gathers. It rests there like a cool hand. Picture a small harbor at dusk. Boats lie still. The water holds them with a patient keeping. A distant lantern blinks without hurry. The harbor does not boast. It simply keeps watch. Peace in this way is not a loud claim. It is a steady attendance. It does not fix every leak at once. It makes sure the boat does not drift. I breathe with you as the image settles. Inhale slowly. Let the air come down to the ribs. Pause. Exhale long. The out-breath tells the nervous system, this space is safe. Repeat this pattern twice more. Each breath slows the pace. Each pause widens the room inside the chest where peace may sit. Think now of a whisper that travels across a small room. The whisper is not hollow. It speaks one sentence that the heart can hold. Hearing it does not mean every problem disappears. It means some things lose their sharp edge. A soft promise like that can be enough to allow the eyelids to drop. Peace like this comes with a particular tone. It is not manufactured calm. It is not a forced smile. It arrives like steady rain on a parched field. The first drops do not fix the soil overnight. They return moisture. They let new things begin their slow growth. The work of repair follows. But rest comes first. A small practice helps the mind accept this quiet. Place a hand over the sternum. Feel the slight rise and fall beneath the palm. Imagine a gentle current moving behind that rise, like a river hidden beneath a plain. The current is warm and constant. With each inhale, picture it widening a hair. With each exhale, picture it soothing the tight places. This current is the offered peace. There are nights when the mind tries to bargain. It lists tasks and stakes them beside the bed. Peace does not argue with the list. It sits beside it. It does not take the work away. It changes who carries the weight for the while. That change matters. It allows muscles to loosen and thoughts to breathe. I name the promise as it rests on the page. The words are not alone. They are an offering carried without interest and without requirement. Accepting them is a small act of faith, not a performance. The act is like reaching for a hand extended in the dark. The hand does not ask for justification. It only steadies. Imagine a room with a thin curtain at the window. Beyond the curtain, a calm wind moves the branches. The curtain lifts and falls in a slow rhythm. The movement is steady and familiar. Let that motion match the breath. Let the curtain be the symbol of a presence that moves beside the day and watches over the night. When worry returns, treat it like a seabird that swoops and then goes. Name it briefly. Give it a single sentence. Then picture a small stone on the windowsill. Set the worry on the stone. It stays there for the night. The stone is not a prison. It is a place of keep. The hands can rest. Mercy walks hand in hand with peace. Mercy meets the fractured place and covers it with a gentle patience. It does not repair everything at once. It keeps company and refuses to tally failures. This companionship creates a field where hope can quietly reappear. Hope, like spring shoots, is small at first. It still signals life. A short ritual can reinforce the calm. Choose a small object by the bedside. A pebble, a folded card, a ribbon. Touch it when the breath slows. Let the touch remind the body that peace is near and allowed. When waking comes, the object will be a signal that rest was not wasted, but part of a larger tending. Keep the language inside as plain as possible. No long arguments, no lists of doctrine. A single phrase, offered as a quiet anchor. Vill du? The phrase may simply name the presence-felt peace that stands near. Repeat it inwardly as the breath fills and empties. Let the phrase lose urgency until it is only a soft guide. Sometimes peace feels distant. If so, use imagery that connects with the senses. Imagine a low fire in a stone hearth. The heat is measured. It warms without blazing. The hands come toward it. Fingers relax. The pulse steadies. The hearth does not lecture about past mistakes. It warms the body and leaves the heart to mend in its own time. The presence of peace also creates a new way to see small failures. Instead of turning them over like stones in a pocket, let them lie in a shallow tray on the table. They do not disappear. They no longer jostle and jab. The body does not need to defend against them all night. That reshelving is an act of mercy toward the self. There is a comfort in knowing that this peace is not merely avoidance. It carries purpose. Rest is the seedbed for tomorrow's action. The quiet does not dull agency. It sets the mind right. It lets decisions come from a place less brown with fatigue. In the morning, choices often feel lighter when the night has done its work. I read now in a voice paired to a whisper. The words I choose are meant as a lullaby. They speak of calm left as a gift. They do not insist on intellectual assent. They offer a relief for the weary heart. Allow them to fall like soft rain on the brow. Let each phrase land and be still. Hold a long silence after the reading. The silence is like a broad field. In that field, the mind may wander briefly and then settle. Let the quiet be wide enough to receive what comes. Do not rush to fill it with more ideas. The space itself is part of the peace. If sleep does not come quickly, use the breath as a clock. Count slowly on the inhale. Let the exhale be a bit longer. Match this rhythm to imagery of a boat gently tied to the dock. The tether keeps the hull steady. The tide does not roughen. The body is like that boat held, not alone. Offer one small act of surrender before the eyes close. It may be a line said inwardly, "This moment is small and safe," or a gesture, hands laid palm down on the blanket. The act need not be dramatic. It only needs to be sincere. Small surrender is often the hinge that opens the way to rest. When the mind revives with early worries, greet them kindly. Do not chase them with sudden energy. Imagine a soft bell that rings once. The bell notes the worry. Then the bell rests. Practice returning attention to the breath. Each return is a gentle retraining of the inner ear to listen for the quiet. There is also a communal picture that brings comfort. Think of a few gathered around a low table. A lamp glows. No demands are made. The company is enough. This presence is the shape of peace. It does not crowd or correct. It keeps a steady warmth. Imagine being in that circle. Breathe the calm it offers. As the night deepens, imagine the peace forming like a cloak laid across the shoulders. The cloak is soft and unadorned. It does not need to be noticed by others. It simply covers and warms. The wearer does not stand taller because of it. The wearer rests. Before the page turns, I leave one final practice. Lay one palm on the belly and the other on the heart. Breathe in and imagine a pale light gathering between the hands. With each hold of breath, the light widens a hair. With each release, it settles and warms. This light is not forceful. It is quiet care. I then speak the paraphrase again, very slowly, as if the words were a small hand smoothing hair from a brow. The meaning is simple. A peace is given that the world cannot give. Let it be a keeper of the night. Allow the sentence to echo softly in the ribs. Allow mercy to move through it and make room. A long pause follows. In that pause, notice any change. A jaw that unclenches. A forehead that falls. A breath that stretches longer without thought. These are small signs of the peace arriving. Each sign is a friend that points toward rest. I close this section with a steadying assurance. The peace offered tonight travels with no condition. It does not demand perfection. It keeps watch and does not tally faults. Rest in that promise for a while. Let it do the quiet work that only night can do. The lamp dims a little more. The page lies soft in the hand. The room breathes with a slower cadence. When it feels right, close the eyes and let the hush carry the rest we have made together. The next truth waits on the page. For now, let the peace remain. I fold the page like a small promise. The night keeps its slow rhythm. I speak now of mornings. I speak of small renewals. I speak of mercy that arrives again and again. I ask ears to listen like they listen to rain on a roof. The sound is steady and kind. The thought I bring is simple. Each morning holds a mercy. The mercy is not a thunderclap. It feels more like a soft exhale of the world. It comes whether the night went well or poorly. It comes without tallying deeds. It arrives by a faithful hand. Close the eyes if that feels right. Picture the last dark untying itself. The horizon breathes in a pale color. Light leaks into the corners like water finding a crack. The crack fills. The room is not remade all at once. It is touched at the edges. That touch is mercy. Think of dew on a blade of grass. The blade has a new bead for each dawn. The bead is whole and fresh. It does not ask the grass what happened yesterday. It only sits and shines. Imagine mercy in that small bead. It is simple. It is clean. I hold a short paraphrase from Scripture as a lullaby. The words tell that steadfast love keeps us. The mercy of each morning is a daily kindness. It is not finished in one night. It is patient, returning like dawn. Hear that as a calm promise. Let it rest under the ribs. Breathe with me once. Inhale slowly. Picture the pale color of early light. Hold for a beat. Exhale and imagine the breath carrying a small weight away. Repeat twice more. Each breath is a rehearsal for morning. Each breath practices receiving what will come. I invite a soft image of a garden at first light. A thin mist lifts. Seeds that seemed still stir. A tiny sprout pushes a cap into the new air. The sprout does not rush. It trusts the day's gentle work. Mercy is like that sprout. It asks only for the chance to be present. Lay a single intent for tomorrow into your hands. Keep it humble. A small kindness, a short phone call, a walk for a minute. Set it like a pebble on the bedside. It will not demand everything. It will be a point of light to follow. The pebble is a token of readiness, not a burden to carry. Imagine a kettle on a low flame. The water warms, then sings in a small voice. That voice is the beginning of a day. The song is not loud. It is faithful. Let the kettle song be the sound that starts the heart tomorrow. Let mercy be the warmth under the lid. There is a ritual I offer that is small and helpful. Before sleep, pick one small thing to leave ready. A clean cup, a jacket, a note with a single line. Place it where morning hands will find it easily. This act is a bridge. It tells the morning mercy will meet me where I stand. Remember that mercy is not reward. It is gift. The gardener waters without asking for roses in return. The rain does not invoice the soil. The morning's mercy is like that tending. It does not weigh worth. It simply arrives, steady and sufficient. If a night carries regret, do not dwell. Instead, place the regret on a table in the mind. Visualize closing the cover on it for now. Promise to look again tomorrow if needed. Then imagine the table set near the window where morning light will touch the edges. The light is gentle. It reveals possibility. I speak of mercy as the day's first breath given to us. Each inhale tomorrow can be new. Each small action can be a step rebuilt from kindness. This is the simple art of beginning again. It is not a grand restart. It is a string of small, faithful acts. If fear wakes early, name it with one soft word. Keep it brief. Then imagine stepping outside a door. The dark remains behind you. Underfoot, the path is cool. Beyond the threshold, the sky holds a thin color. Walk slowly a few steps. Notice the color deepen. Let the chest open the width of a few breaths. The fear does not dissolve. It is met by the morning's mercy. I offer a short reading now, very gently paraphrased. The text says that steadfast love lives. Mercy is renewed each new day. Great faithfulness arrives again and again. Take these words as a lamp in the dark. They do not solve everything. They steady the hand. Hold that thought a moment. Let the idea sink, like a small pebble dropped into deep water. The ripples reach out slowly. They do not demand attention. They simply move. You may feel the edge of calm gather where the ripples touch. Imagine a window open to the east. Fresh air comes in. The air carries small sounds. A sparrow begins a simple melody. It is not a concert. It is a single voice that repeats the same hopeful note. Let that note rest in the chest. It will be a small guide when waking arrives. There is a practical anchor that helps. Keep a notepad beside the bed. In the morning, write one sentence that names a mercy scene. It can be small. The cup was warm. The child smiled. A stranger held a door. These lines train the eyes to notice the new mercies. Over time, they collect like a soft ledger of God's kindness. If sleep feels thin, imagine mercy as a slow tide that comes to the shore. It touches the sand, then withdraws. It comes again. Each wave leaves a shell. Each shell is a small marker that the sea has been there. In the morning, gather one shell. Let it remind that mercy came again, even in small measures. I also guide a gentle practice for hard mornings. Start with a small task that is certain. Make the bed. Fill a glass of water. Stand at the window for 2 deep breaths. These acts are not achievements. They are tiny confirmations that the day has begun, and mercy accompanies the start. Mercy does not ignore pain. It meets it. Sometimes mercy looks like a neighbor bringing a loaf. Sometimes it looks like the quiet return of appetite. Sometimes it looks like the first laugh that breaks through a heavy day. Accept these small mercies without apology. I avoid heavy words. I keep this close to the bedside. The theology of it is simple. A faithful presence renews care each day. Receiving that care is not a test. It is a rest. It is a chance to begin again in small increments. If tomorrow holds decisions, Place one small lamp near the planning. Let mercy be the light that softens the edges of choice. You do not have to solve everything at once. Choose one thing to do with kindness as your compass. Let that one thing be enough for the morning. I speak now of rhythm. Days flow in arcs that circle back. Night hands the care to morning. Morning takes it gently and tends what is possible. This arc is mercy made practical. It keeps watch by rotating care through hours like a wheel that does not stop. If loneliness sits heavy, imagine a line of light stretching from you to the next person. It need not be long. It may be a thread of prayer, or a single brief message, or a remembered face. That thread carries the morning's mercy across distance. It reminds you that care is woven through many small acts. Now breathe slowly with me. Inhale, hold, exhale. With each out-breath, imagine one new mercy settling like a pale light on the bedside table. Bring the number to 3. Let the light be enough. Let it wash the outline of tomorrow's hope. Keep the voice in the head kind. When a sharp thought returns, soften it with the phrase, mercy begins again. Repeat it softly once. Let the phrase be a pillow under the thought. It does not argue, it comforts. I offer a brief ritual for the end of the night. Lay both hands lightly on the belly. Feel the small rise and fall. Picture the coming morning as a gentle hand opening the fingers. Put one thing in that hand, a small hope, a need, a simple intention. Close the fingers there. Trust the hand to hold it until dawn. Then rest. I read a few lines again. Slow and steady. The words say that love does not abandon, that compassion returns with the sun. Let these lines be a soft refrain. Let them stay under the ribs like warm embers. Ready for the next day. Do not expect all to be solved by morning. The world keeps its edges. Mercy does not force a polish on everything. It simply gives a fresh chance. It makes the first coffee taste slightly better. It lets a laugh come a beat earlier. It steadies the hand enough to try again. If morning brings sorrow, name it gently. Let it be part of the day, not its center. Place the sorrow on a bench in the heart. Sit beside it for a few breaths. The bench will be warmed by the day's passing. The sorrow will not be gone. It will be companioned. I conclude this part with a quiet promise. The mercies of morning come again. The pattern endures. Each new dawn is a small beginning. Receive it softly. Meet it with a single act of gentleness towards self. Allow one small kindness to set the tone. Rest now in the thought that new mercy waits. Let it be the last image you carry into sleep. Let the morning have its work. Let the night do its healing. When the first light finds the window, let the heart answer with a small, steady yes. I close the book gently. The page stays warm. The night leans in. Sleep will come in its own time. When it does, hold the promise of morning like a seed in the palm. Tomorrow's mercy will be there. The room keeps its hush. The next part waits for when the eyes open again. For now, be still and rest. I lift the book once more. The lamp is low. The house breathes in a soft rhythm. I speak now of faith over fear. The words come slowly. The voice is steady. There is a sentence in Scripture that I hold like a small lamp. It says simply, do not be afraid. I say it again, quietly. Do not be afraid. The sentence is not a lecture. It is an invitation to release a grip that grows tired. I paraphrase another line that follows. It says, I am with you. I am your companion in the dark places. My hand will steady you. Hear that as a promise. Not a demand. Fear often arrives like a small animal in the room. It stirs and then makes noise. The animal is not giant. It has sharp teeth only in imagination. Bring your attention to the shape of that fear. Name it inside your mind with one short word. Keep the word simple. The act of naming takes away some of its ability to surprise. Breathe with me. Inhale in slowly. Count to 4. Hold for a breath. Exhale long to 6. Each out-breath loosens the jaw a little. The shoulders follow. The chest gains space. Fear refuses a lengthened exhale. Let yours have it. Picture now a right hand stretched across a small distance. The hand is warm and steady. It reaches not to grab, but to hold. Imagine placing your worry into that palm. The palm does not squeeze. It receives and keeps. The weight rests there without being dropped or tossed back. Hold to that image. Let the muscles around the shoulders soften. I speak of a guide that is quieter than the world's demands. This guide moves without loud directions. It steadies the foot on uncertain ground. It does not erase the path ahead. It offers a steadying touch. That touch is what the right hand represents in the passage I read. Uncertainty can feel like walking a narrow path across a low ridge. The wind is present. The stones are loose. If walking alone, each step tightens the knee and the breath. Imagine now a steady hand on the small of the back. It stays there as you move. It shifts your balance only enough to make the next step sure. It does not carry you. It keeps you steady. Faith is not a sudden disappearance of reason. It is a practice of placing weight where hands are offered. The practice is small. It is repeated. Each time you place a burden into that steady palm, your muscles learn a new shape of trust. It becomes a muscle like any other. It grows with patient repetition. I relate this in quiet images. A lighthouse does not remove the rocks. It places a light where ships can see. A rope tied across a stream does not stop the water. It allows the traveler to cross. These aids do not pretend danger away. They provide a form of guidance that the fearful heart can use. There is a particular sense of relief that comes with trusting a hand that will not let go. Try this simple exercise. Place a hand on the chest, just above the heart. Let the other hand rest over it. Close the eyes if that feels safe. In the quiet, imagine the right hand of the promise under your hands. Feel the little rise and fall of the breath beneath the palms. Imagine the hand there, keeping pace. Now, take a single fear and form it into a small stone in the mind. It is not the only stone. It is one stone. Hold it briefly. Turn it in your imagination. Notice the edges. Notice the weight. Then, with the breath, Place that stone into the steady palm. Do this slowly. The release is not dramatic. It is ordinary. Yet the chest notices the space where the stone once pressed. Fear does not vanish in a single night. Some things require repeated small movements. Some nights, the stone will slide back into the hand without you meaning it to. If that happens, do the same small movement again. It is not failure. It is practice. Each gentle placement teaches the body that letting go is possible. I avoid heavy arguments here. This part of the night is for the simple exchange I hold. You receive. The promise of the passage is that the holding is sure. The palm is not feeble. It is described as a right hand that upholds. Imagine strength that is steady rather than flashy. The steady kind that does not tire at midnight. If fear comes in many small forms, sort them like stones into a shallow bowl. Each name takes up less room when placed down. You do not carry the whole bowl. You may glance at it and know it sits on the table. The sight of it will not stop the breath from deepening. The bowl serves to mark that the tasks exist. They no longer press directly upon the chest. There is also a kindness in naming the particular shape of fear. Sometimes fear wears the skin of worry about tomorrow. Sometimes it comes as regret about what has passed. Sometimes it is a dull ache. Each shape asks for different small comforts. For tomorrow's worry, try leaving a very small plan by the bed. For regret, try a short sentence, written and set aside. For ache, place a warm cloth on the part of the body that hurts. These actions are small, practical ways faith visits the ordinary. I speak now of decision-making under quiet pressure. When the mind races, return to the palms. Place the hands like a nest. Put a single concern inside. Say nothing aloud. Let the hands hold it. The act itself signals a shift. The nervous system takes cues from small gestures. In the stillness, the heart learns a different pace. Trust is not permission to avoid responsibility. It is a hand offered for the night to steady the stride. In the morning, choices will return. They will come with new light. For now, the hand keeps watch so that rest may do its work. Wakened thinking often finds a problem less sharp. The edges have been softened by sleep. There are nights when fear convinces the mind that it is in control. It rehearses disasters and their outcomes. Do not argue with this voice. Instead, offer a simple counter. This hand is here. Restate it inwardly, without trying to explain. The body recognizes a statement of safety more readily than a long defense. Repeat the short sentence softly a few times. Let the words sink into the ribs. I read a gentle paraphrase of the passage now. Slow and low. The lines say, do not be afraid. I am with you. Do not be anxious. I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold you up with my steady right hand. Let each phrase rest like a hand on the shoulder. Allow the cadence to slow the pulse. After the reading, I keep silence long enough for the images to settle. Silence is not empty. It holds the new shape given by the words in the silence. Practice the small hand in the palm image again. You may find the chest loosens, the throat softens, the breath lengthens. If fear wakes you later in the night, do this same movement without fanfare. Breathe. Name the fear as a single word. Place it in the imagined hand. Let the breath comfort the body. Use the hands physically, if that helps. Lay a palm on the sternum. Rest the other on the first. Feel the warmth of your own touch. Let that be a small sign that you are not alone. There is also a habit to build for the morning. Before arising, keep both hands folded over the heart. Breathe 3 long breaths. Remember the steady hand that upheld you through the night. Thanking is not required. Only noticing is enough. Simple noticing trains the mind to expect steadiness in the day to come. I offer a tiny ritual for the bedside now. Choose one object to represent the steady hand. Perhaps a small stone, a smooth shell, a ribbon. Place it where the first light will find it. Let that object be a signal in the morning that holding was offered and accepted. It will be a small bridge between night's rest and day's work. Fear often feels righteous. It promises safety if listened to. Yet listening to it all night costs rest. Allow the right-hand image to be the counterweight. Let the mind try the smaller trust. The world will not fall apart because a mind rests. In fact, the hands that wake tomorrow will have more steadiness to do what must be done. I keep the tone gentle here. No rhetorical fireworks. No debate. The message is simple and practical. Receive. Rest. Try again. The heart learns by habit. Habits form slowly and softly. Their work is steady. Their reward is the kind of calm that survives a morning storm. Before I close this section, I guide a final short exercise. Lie or sit still. Place one hand over the heart and the other over the first. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold. Breathe out for 6. With each exhale, imagine the right hand of the promise, narrowing the distance between palm and chest. Let it rest there. Say to yourself, very quietly, I will not be afraid tonight. Let the sentence be a small lantern, not a proclamation. I finish with a short benediction. The lamp will remain low. The night will keep its pace. Trust the hand that does not tire. The promise holds through darkness and through dawn. When sleep comes, let it come trusting that a steady right hand upholds the steps ahead. The page lies warm. The next part waits. For now, rest in the steadiness you have practiced. Let faith, small and patient, move fear to the side. Sleep will arrive in its own time. I close the book and sit with the hush a while longer. Keeping watch with you, I lift the book with care. The lamp on the table is a low, steady glow. The night keeps its even breath. I speak now of hope made joyful. I speak of a hope that feels like quiet music under the ribs. I do not try to explain every mystery. I only offer a small picture. Hope is a small growth that keeps happening even in winter. It is not a crash of fireworks. It arrives as a gentle thaw. The heart warms a bit. The chest finds room. Imagine a wellspring under a stone. The stone is not moved by force. A tiny flow slips out at the edge. It is clear and slow. The water tastes of surprise and mercy. It runs along a narrow channel and gathers in a shallow bowl. That bowl is where joy comes to rest for a moment. The bowl is steady. It will be there tomorrow. Breathe with me. Inhale soft and slow. Feel the air gather at the middle of the chest. Hold it for a count. Exhale longer, letting the breath ease, like water returning to the well. Repeat twice. Each breath makes the body easier to carry. Each breath invites a small gladness to live near the heart. Hope often looks like a small, practical thing, a single bright thought, a remembered kindness, a laugh that surprised the day. Keep those small things as treasures. I suggest choosing one tonight. Pick something simple. Hold it lightly. Let it sit in the palm of the mind like a smooth seed. I place a seed beside the lamp. It is small and round. I do not promise it will sprout into an oak by morning. I only promise that it will rest here, warmed by the low light. When the wind moves the curtain, the seed seems to blink. That blinking is hope's little nod. It says morning will come. Joy and peace can nestle together. They are not rivals. Joy is like a clear bell. Peace is like the soft cushion that holds the bell so it can sound without clanging. When joy rings, peace catches the sound. When peace is deep, joy has room to echo. The two work together to keep a steady inner music. There is a stillness that lets joy grow. It is not noisy. It does not demand applause. It is the kind of stillness that makes room for a small light to expand without being noticed too loudly. Let the room become that stillness. Let the hands lie open. Let the jaw soften. Hold your chosen seed gently. Imagine a baker who begins bread before dawn. The dough sits in the quiet. It rises slowly. The baker does little, just covers the bowl and leaves it to rise. Hope is like that dough. It does its work in the dark. It needs only the warmth and the pause. The result is slow and faithful. The Holy Spirit works in ways like a mild warmth, not hot, not startling, a warmth that reaches the places chilled by fear. Picture a soft breeze that moves through a closed room and leaves a faint scent of fruit. That breeze does not shout. It renews the air. Let that image sit on the palate of the mind. If worry returns, do not fight it with loud arguments. Notice it as a shape. Name it in a single word. Place that word beside the lamp. Imagine a small bird that settles on the windowsill. It chirps once, then rests. You do not have to shoo it away. Let it be small and distant. Your breath is deeper than the bird's chirp. A practice helps me and can help you. Keep a tiny jar or cup by the bedside. Tonight, place one small object inside: a pebble, a coin, a folded paper with a single line. Name it a hope, not a promise to the world, just a little request. Leave it there as a marker. In the morning, look at it briefly. Let it remind you that hope was attended to. I paraphrase a passage now in a hush. It is not a test. It is a lullaby. I say softly that God, the source of hope, fills the heart with joy and peace when trust rests there. The Spirit begins a quiet work inside, making hope grow strong enough to carry us forward. Hear that as a calm assurance, not an argument. Let the words settle like rain on a roof. Each drop is small. Each drop softens the clay. Collectively, they make a stream. Let the stream trace paths through the mind that were dry before. Notice how the chest expands a fraction. Notice how the shoulders ease. Hope asks for a few humble practices. One before sleep. Name one thing you long for in the short term. Keep it small. No grand redesigns. A single step. Put that thought on the pillow as if tucking in a small note. 2 when waking. Look for one small evidence that the hope can breathe an answered email. Eklieski. A voice that laughs. Let that evidence be enough. Another practice mixes motion and thought. Sit up slowly. Put both hands on the lap. Imagine a warm current rising from the belly into the chest. As it rises, think of a single gentle word, perhaps come. Stay, light, or morning. Say it quietly inside. Let the current carry the word into the hollow by the heart. This is not a formula. It is a way to anchor hope in the body. I place a small hymn in the air, not by singing, but by image. Think of a simple melody hummed by someone nearby. It does not need to be precise. It is only a slow, repeating line that grows a little softer each time. Let that small music become a companion as the eyes grow heavy. The humming is the sound hope makes when it is not obliged to perform. Sometimes hope is a stubborn little flame in the dark. It does not blaze. It glows. It warms what it touches. If you are too tired to see the flame, place a hand over the heart and imagine warmth there. Let the warmth be the Holy Spirit's gentle presence. Breathe into that heat. Let it fill the small places where fear found room. I avoid argument. I do not lecture on the mechanics of belief. I offer images that settle the mind. Think of a field in early spring. Small green edges push through old straw. The task of the morning is not to count how many shoots will become harvest. It is to notice that life still pushes toward light. That noticing changes the shape of the day. If the night brings regret, treat it with kindness. Do not try to erase it. Instead, fold it into a simple act of care. Write a single sentence on a scrap of paper. Fold the paper and place it under a book. Let the paper rest there for a time. This small act does not forget. It pauses the mind's rehearsal of mistakes. There is a particular joy that grows from trusting presence more than performance. The body breathes in pattern. The heart relaxes. The mind finds focus without frantic searching. Trust begins as a tiny muscle. It strengthens by repeating small gestures of letting go. Each night's practice is a tiny rep for the soul. I suggest one last small habit for tonight. Before the lamp goes low, press the pad of the thumb to the pad of the index finger. This is a tiny seal. It is a private way to say, I accept a small hope for tomorrow. Hold that seal for a few slow breaths. Then let the hands rest open on the blanket. The motion is small. Its meaning is generous. I paraphrase the scripture again. Slowly and softly. God, who fills us with hope, gives joy and peace when trust is present. The Spirit works quietly, so that hope overflows. Hear it as a lullaby. Let it sit under the ribs like a warm pebble. Silence follows my gentle reading. The silence is not empty. It is a field where the images can root. In that field, see the seed you chose earlier. See it warm and press at the shell. Notice the small hint of green. There is no hurry. There is only a steady turning toward light. If sleep comes quickly, lead it. If sleep is slow, return to the practices. Breathe slowly. Imagine the wellspring. Hold the seed. Touch the tiny seal. Let the humming melody play softly in the background of thought. These small things keep hope alive without demanding it to be full grown. I close the book with the same gentle hand that opened it. The lamp is near its last glow. The room keeps a calm like softened wool. Before the eyes finally close, offer one brief line of thanks for the small helps of the day. The line is not long. It is simply a nod of the heart. Tonight, let the joy of hope be a companion. Let it be quiet and steady. Let the Spirit's warmth rest in the chest. Let the wellspring run a little. Just enough to keep the bowl full. When sleep carries the body away, let hope travel softly in the pocket of the night. In the morning, the seed will be there still, and the light will find it. For now, rest in the sweet, slow assurance that hope is with us. The book rests. The room breathes. The next part waits for when eyes open again. I lift the book and let the lamp lean its small circle of light across the page. The room listens. Tonight I turn to a simple line that has kept many people warm. I speak of the way words can be medicine. I read them not as a lesson, but as a balm. The passage I hold says this: pay careful attention to these sayings. Keep them close, in sight and in the heart. They are a kind of life, and they bring health to the whole body. I do not quote the exact wording. I let the meaning settle like a soft cloth over the shoulders. Hear it as a quiet promise meant for the weary. Sit with me a moment. Settle the hands. Lay a palm on the chest. Place the other hand softly at the throat or on the belly, wherever the body wants gentleness. Breathe in slow. Count 4. Pause. Breathe out for 6. Do that 3 times. Each long exhale lets the muscles around the neck and ribs rest a touch more. The breath makes the room a little larger inside. Words can be like ointment. Imagine a small pot of warm salve. The lid comes off. The smell is mild. A fingertip dips in. The finger moves toward a sore place and lays the salve there. The touch is careful. The salve is not a magic cure. It comforts the place it meets. It begins a small work that the night finishes. Let the book be that pot of salve. Let the words be the warm finger. I speak this passage again, in a hush. Keep these sayings near. Let their shape live where you can see them. Imagine each phrase as a thin ribbon of light. The ribbons do not clamor. They slip beneath the skin like a cool wind and settle along the spine. The spine feels the touch and relaxes. Muscles that have been holding worry let go of a string or two. The whole body loosens its grip. Now shift your attention slowly from the chest to the jaw. Many nights, the jaw keeps its small knots. Move the tongue so the mouth unclenches. With the breath, imagine a single word from the passage, a short phrase like life to the body. Say it silently once on the in-breath and again on the out-breath. The sound is inside only. The words are soft. Let them move like a slow current down the throat and into the chest. Think next of the hands. Hold them loosely in your lap. Picture each syllable of the phrase as a tiny light stepping from fingertip to fingertip. The light warms the skin. The tendons relax. Pain sometimes lives in small, clenched places. The words do not yank it away. They slide in beneath and make a little room. That room is enough for the body to breathe differently. There is a way to lay the words on a place that aches. Form them into a single line in your mind. Let the line be short and steady. These sayings bring life and health. Make the line no longer than a whisper. Place the thought over the part of the body that feels heavy. Imagine the thought as a warm leaf. Lay the leaf across the skin. Hold it there without forcing anything. Watch what happens to the shoulders, to the brow, to the knees. Often, the pressure shifts. It does not always leave. It changes shape. Healing often comes slowly. The night tends the edges. The words start a work that sleep and small cells keep doing. Think of an ember in a small hearth. The ember does not blaze into day. It warms the stones until the stones give back heat. In the morning, the room still holds warmth. The words are the ember. The body receives their heat and keeps it through the dark hours. If the mind grows busy, return to a single image. Picture a narrow stream running over pebbles. Each pebble is an old ache or a repeating worry. Watch how the water moves. It does not drag the pebble out. It bathes the pebble until its edges polish and it sits less sharp in the hand. The words you listen to are the water. They do not demand the pebble vanish. They soften it so fingers can let go. There is a gentle practice for those nights when pain or restlessness wakes the chest. Sit up with the back supported. Place one hand over the heart. Place the other on the back of the neck. Breathe in slowly. On the out-breath, trace the line of the spine with the eyes. Imagine each vertebra receiving a single word from the passage. Let the thought sink into the marrow. Give it time. Most work in the body keeps its own clock. Sometimes reading aloud helps a body remember how to rest. I read now, slowly and plainly. The meaning of the line once more. I shape the phrases to be like a lullaby. If it helps, mouth them quietly beside the ear. The rhythm matters more than the rhetoric. The cadence tells the nervous system that danger is not near. With that cue, the muscles lower their guard. Keep a small habit by the bedside. Let a page stay open to a short line. You find healing. When nighttime tightens, touch the page with the fingertip. The gesture is small. It connects skin and text. The contact reminds the body that words have weight. Sometimes that single motion is enough to shift the attention from the ache to the presence that speaks. Healing through the word is not only for the body, Let the same phrases work on the soul. Imagine a wounded place inside a memory that tightens like a knot. Carry the verse to that inner place. Lay it gently like a cloth over the memory. The cloth does not erase what happened. It changes the air around it. It lets the wound be attended to without the same sharpness of pain. Many people find that the word becomes a quiet companion during long nights. Keep a line memorized for those hours when reading is too bright. A short sentence in the chest is like a lamp under a blanket. It warms without disturbing the dark. Repeat it slowly when the mind leaps to worst-case rehearsals. The phrase is a slow step back toward calm. There is also a communal shape to this healing. Imagine others in the room with you. Perhaps Unsehen. Each holds a small page with the same line. The words do not collide. They form a net under the night. The net does not trap, but it supports the weight of small sorrows. If the hands tremble, feel the net beneath. It is steady because it is shared. If fear or doubt asks for proof, offer acquiescence instead. Healing rarely announces itself loudly. It moves like dawn. It gives a little more room in the heart, and then another. Accept the small improvements. Count them as mercy. A jaw that unclenches for 5 minutes is a victory. A sleep that lengthens by half an hour is progress. Keep the ledger of tiny changes. Before sleep, imagine a simple ritual. Turn the page to the chosen line. Place your hand over it for a beat. Whisper the meaning inwardly. Ask for help, not as a demand, but as a handing over of a weight you cannot carry tonight. Close the book gently. Let the lamp keep its soft glow. Fall into the rest the words begin. I also offer a practice for mornings when the night did not help as much as hoped. Do not scold the body. Instead, place the same line where the morning light finds it. Read it slowly over the coffee or the water. Let the phrase shape the first breath of the day. Healing often continues best in small, steady rhythms. There will be nights when the body resists the comfort. That resistance does not mean failure. It simply means healing is patient. Return to the words the next night. Return the night after that. The repetition builds a gentle muscle of trust. The body learns a posture that lets medicine in. The soul learns that presence is constant. Now, I read one short paraphrase again. In the gentlest voice, give the heart a chance to hear it as a lullaby. Allow the words to rest on the ribs like a soft weight. Breathe them in and out. Make room for them in the chest and the back of the neck. Let the body receive what it can, without pressure. Hold a long silence after this. The silence is not empty. It is the space where the words can do what they do. In this silence, notice the small shifts. A brow loosens. A finger warms. The breath finds a slower path. These are the quiet signs of work being done. Before closing, place both hands over the place that needs healing most. Picture the phrase moving there now, not as a force, but as a steady presence. Let the hands be witnesses. Let the palms keep the place with a calm attention. Rest in that holding. Truly hold it for a minute or two. When the lamp dims and the eyes grow heavy, promise to return to these words again. Healing is rarely a single page. It is a patient reading of many small lines. Keep the book close. Keep the habit small. Let the word be the slow companion that walks beside every sleepless hour. I close the book with fingers that move slowly. The page remains warm where it was touched. The room breathes in a longer rhythm. The night keeps its watch. When you are ready, let the eyes fall and let the body accept the gentle work that has begun. I wait here with a hush for a few more slow breaths. Then we will turn the page and listen for another quiet truth. For now, let the words be life to the parts that ache. Let them be a balm to the small places that need tending. Rest in that promise tonight. I lower the lamp a little more and let its circle of light shrink. The room grows softer. The air feels cooler. Breathing slows. I will read a few lines in a voice made for the dark. The words are not a lesson. They are an invitation to lay things down. There is a simple sentence that has kept many people company late at night. It asks that we hand over our anxieties because we are cared for. I speak it now as a quiet promise, shaped to be a lullaby. Hear this as an offering, not an argument. Bring your worries and set them down. Trust that they will be kept. Start with a small act. Rest the hands in the lap or on the bed. Let the palms face upward. Imagine holding a tiny object there. It may be a pebble, a folded scrap of cloth, a single autumn leaf. This object is one worry. Give it a name. Inside one small word will do. The naming is gentle. It does not pull the worry apart. It merely makes it a thing you can look at. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Let the air fill the lower chest. Pause for a single, calm beat. Breathe out for 6 counts. Longer than the in-breath. As the breath releases, imagine the object lifting a fraction. Do this 3 times. Each long exhale frees a little more of the grip. The shoulders let go a degree. The jaw slackens. The body replies to the rhythm. Now form a picture. See a wide sky in the image of your mind. The sky is deep and high. A pair of great wings stir there. Gentle and sure. They do not snatch. They do not make noise. They sweep low over the place where your pebble sits. Imagine the wings descending and receiving the burden from the palm. The motion is light. The wings close around the pebble and lift it upward. Watch the path the pebble takes. It does not vanish instantly. It rides the air. The wings carry it beyond the nearest tree. Then past a ridge where light rests on the grass. The pebble grows smaller. It becomes a speck, then a point of light, then simply part of the vastness above. The weight in the hand is gone. Notice the space where it once sat. The chest expands in a new way. If the wing image does not ease the heart, try a water image instead. Picture a narrow creek at your feet. Create a small paper boat in the mind. Place the pebble in the boat. Give it a single breath to push off. Watch the current. Take it around a bend. The water does not judge the pebble. It carries it steadily, without hurry. The boat slides into a broader pool where light gathers. Your hand is empty. This release is not a trick that erases every memory. It is a practical motion that changes the body's relation to worry. It moves the feeling from being inside you to being somewhere else, that somewhere else will be held and tended. The care that keeps it is steady and kind. Let that knowledge rest in the sternum as a quiet warmth. There is a small ritual that can help if the mind keeps replaying worries. Keep a small dish by the bedside. Before sleep, take a scrap of paper and write one worry on it in a single line. Fold the paper and place it in the dish. Set a pebble atop the folded paper. The pebble stands watch. It is not a punishment. It is an act of setting a boundary. The worry is no longer allowed to crawl into the sheet and crowd the pillow. If writing feels too bright, try a silent version. Close the eyes and say the worry once. Inside, use one short sentence. Then imagine handing it to the wings or placing it in the boat. The motion counts. The rehearsal teaches the hands and the nervous system a new pattern release first. Problem later. Trust that the night will carry what it can, and that morning will help sort what remains. I tell of a shepherd who does not count the flock only by the day's tasks. At dusk, the shepherd opens a gate and lets the flock rest in a sheltered fold. The animals do not have to keep watch all night. The keeper stands near, attentive to the smallest noise. Cast your worries as the flock. They sit in a safe pen for the night. You may return in the morning with clearer eyes. There is mercy in the motion of letting go. Mercy does not rush to fix things. It simply keeps them from pressing on the living parts of us. Picture mercy as a soft scarf that you place over the shoulders of your own anxious heart. The scarf is not a disguise. It is a covering that allows the muscles to relax. There is no cost for receiving it. It is offered freely. Breathing remains the steady companion here. Use it when the mind suggests that not enough has been done. Breathe in for 4. Hold 2. Breathe out 6. Each cycle is a permission to rest. Each pause is a small reclaiming of the present moment. The breath does not solve the worry. It makes room so that rest can begin. Sometimes the mind returns to a burden despite these images. If that happens, try a small physical marker. Keep a small cup of water on the bedside table. At the first return of worry in the night, tip a little water into the sink. Watch the motion. The act is quiet and practical. It gives the body a job that is both mindful and gentle. The pouring becomes a symbol of release. I will now speak the passage again as a lullaby. Listen to it, not as instruction, but as comfort. Hear that you may cast your anxieties onto a steady care, because the care is attentive. My voice is slow. My words are soft. Let them fall like rain on a parched place. Let them sink into the small places where worry gathers. There is a tender truth to hold handing over. A worry tonight does not mean giving up on it forever. It means not carrying it through the dark. It is a deliberate choice to allow your body and mind the repair of sleep. In the morning, the same worry may need attention. You will be better suited to meet it after rest. The release is not escaping responsibility. It is sensible stewardship. A tiny exercise helps cement the practice. Place both hands on the center of the chest, one over the other. Breathe slowly twice. On the third in-breath, imagine a cool, feather-light touch beneath your hands. On the out-breath, Let the imagined wings take the load of the day's heaviest thought. Keep the hands where they are and feel the small expansion. Stay with this for a minute. If grief or fear feels too heavy for the wing or boat images, make another image of a bench. Picture a long bench under an old tree. Bring the burden and set it on the bench. Sit beside it for a moment. Notice how sitting beside your worry feels different from carrying it. The difference is quiet, but real. The bench keeps it safe. You let the legs stop trembling. If sleep resists, come back to the bench again. Name a single worry. Place it on the bench and step away a few paces. Watch the space between you and the bench widen. You do not need to cross that space now. Let the distance itself be the rest. Walk back if it helps. Repeat without hurry. There is mercy in community. When someone else carries an anxious stone, many hands can hold a single weight more easily. If you can, let one person know you are laying down a burden tonight. It might be a short text, a single line. That small sharing invites another's watchfulness. It is not a demand. It is a mutual kindness. Avoid making the release into a test. Do not judge how well the letting go was done. Some nights, only a fraction of the pebble flies away. Some nights, the hand continues to close around it despite the best images. That is all right. Try again tomorrow. The practice rewards patience, not perfection. Before sleep, I suggest one last small act. Choose the worry that presses most. Make a single, very small plan for it tomorrow. Not a full strategy. A single step. Perhaps a phone call, a short list, or a moment of prayer. Write that step on a tiny scrap and fold it into the dish with the pebble. The act is a bridge. It tells the mind that the worry has been attended to and will be met by a calm hand in the morning. I speak the passage one more time in a hushed voice. Hear that peace is near. Hear that your cares are known and carried. Let this replace the rehearsing of worst-case scenes. Let it be a steady breath under the heart. Now place one hand over the heart and the other over the top of that hand. Feel the warmth there. Imagine the wings taking the last small thing you are holding. Let your shoulders fall. Let the jaw soften. Keep the breath slow and long. When sleep begins to come, let it do. Do not push it. Do not shame the mind for what it keeps returning to. Instead, return to the small images. Use the hands. Use the dish. Use the bench. Use the wings. Each gentle motion builds a new habit of release. I will read again in the next part. For now, rest with the thought that your anxieties have a place where they can be held. Trust that they are cared for. Allow the night to do its quiet work. Stay here a while in the hush. Breathe. Let the wings carry what they will. Let the heart learn the shape of rest. When morning comes, we will open eyes and hands again. For now, sleep. I hold this next story close. Like a small lantern, I tell it in a voice that has learned to be slow. The lamp is low. The room listens. Tonight I speak of a friend who found strength anew in God. She comes into the story not as a hero, but as someone very simple. She wakes with a tight chest, She carries worries that crease the brow. Her work is steady and long. Her nights are often restless. She does not arrive by a dramatic conversion. She arrives by small, faithful steps. I watch her begin with one quiet habit. Each evening she sits with a cup of tea. She opens a worn book to the first pages she can handle. The words she reads are not an argument. They are a gentle promise. She reads them as if they are a lamp under her hands. The phrases rest there and slowly warm something inside. At first she reads only a line. She chooses the same line again and again. It is small enough to hold. She breathes with it. Over weeks, the line stops feeling like new law. It becomes an old song. The song calms the throat. The jaw unknots a little. The nights begin to compress into longer arcs of sleep. Friends notice the change. The tone of her voice shifts by a hair. She laughs at a small thing. She takes one walk at dusk. These moves are not flashy. They are like seeds that know what to do. The soil is mercy. The soil is habit. The soil is God's kindness. She also practices a tiny ritual that matters more than it seems. Before sleep, she writes 3 small things that felt like mercy that day. A warm cup, a returned call, a sky that cleared. The list is brief. The act is plain. It trains the eye to find grace. Mercy becomes not a distant doctrine, but a daily thing. She can count on a fingertip. One night she tells me, in that private way friends do, that she felt empty of hope. The emptiness is not dramatic. It feels like a room with the lights dimmed too far. I read to her then. I read slowly. As I read now, I do not read to fix. I read to sit beside what is raw. The paragraphs we share do not elbow her doubt. They simply give a place to rest. She leans into the words. The words do not lecture. They offer steady images, a shepherd who counts every sheep, a gentle hand that steadies a trembling shoulder, mercies that appear like morning dew. She repeats one image to herself at night. It becomes a quiet talisman. When fear nudges at the ribs, she returns to the image and breathes through it. Her story includes a season of regret, as modest as most. She speaks of things left unsaid. She carries a list of small regrets that press in the chest. Forgiveness feels risky at first. She tries a private form of it. In the dark, she names one small hurt and places it on a table in her mind. She does not demand forgetting. She simply stops carrying it to the pillow. I watch how that changes her sleep. The jaw relaxes. The mornings are less edged. She does not become untroubled overnight. The change is in the margins. When the day presses, she no longer drags the biggest stones into the night. Night begins to do its work without being crowded. Community helps. She finds a few people who will listen without fixing. They bring soup. They show up with a blanket. They read a verse with her and do not insist on answers. This presence is humble. It does not try to polish her wounds. It keeps watch, and that watching is itself healing. Work changes too. She does not throw herself into busyness to avoid the ache. She opens small windows of rest in the day. A walk to the mailbox becomes a breather. A cup poured slowly is an act of mercy toward muscles that hold tension. She learns to keep the ledger of her days short. It does not deny responsibilities. It simply refuses to let them rule the night. A few months in, a small crisis arrives. As life does, she loses an assignment at work. The old pattern would have set off a chain of worry that turned every minute of darkness into rehearsal for disaster. Instead, she reaches for the lamp she had learned to trust. She opens the book. She reads the lines she knows by heart. She breathes. She lets friends steady her. The crisis is not erased. It is reseated so the body can rest and the mind can respond from a less ragged place. Her faith grows in the shape of daily practice. It is not a task performed to earn acceptance. It is an invitation to receive steadiness, grace. For here is a hand laid over the shoulder when the night is thick. The hand does not lecture or explain. It only steadies. Slowly, that steadiness becomes a habit of heart. I do not tell this story to prove a system. I tell it because it is gentle and true. People mend in small ways. The word she reads is the kind that fits into a pocket. It is the kind that can be said with a half-shut mouth at midnight. It is the kind that does not make the room feel strange when sickness and sorrow sit near. This friend's life does not become flawless. The wounds do not all vanish. Instead, they transform. They stop pressing the throat at night. Old anxieties still appear, but they come as small, ordinary things. The hands that once clenched every worry now know how to hand one of them over. That hand offers what it can, and then rests. There is one evening I remember particularly. The wind is a slow voice outside. She sits with the book open and a plate half eaten. We do not speak much. I read a passage that comforts without arguing. I paraphrase the line like a lullaby. Steady mercy meets the morning. Strength comes to the tired. She closes her eyes. A single tear wets the cheek. It is not a dramatic moment. It is a small thaw. She begins also to practice acts of kindness that do not demand much. She writes a card to someone who had helped her years before. She bakes bread and leaves it at a neighbor's door. These acts are small. They are not meant to fix the past. They are ways to let mercy out from the chest. Giving becomes for her a medicine. It does not heal all pain, but it does enlarge the capacity to receive care as well. I read scripture with her sometimes. I do not read to instruct. I read as a companionable voice. The words settle like soft light. She learns to take in a short phrase at bedtime. That phrase becomes a small root. It puts down a kind of quiet that lets hope grow, even when the day was heavy. Her renewal is nothing spectacular. It looks like steady mornings rather than sudden conversion. It looks like less reactivity. It looks like a willingness to accept help. Her eyes soften in a way only friends notice. In company, she is kinder to herself. She lets herself sleep. The daily mercies collect. They do not all parade into the morning at once. They arrive like dew. I speak of this because it helps when the world feels loud. A story like this offers a path. It asks for small practices. Read a short passage at night. Keep a small list of mercies. Let friends hold watch. Say a brief line of prayer without pressure. These acts do not argue theology. They invite tenderness. There is a tenderness I want to name. God's love renews us each day, as the sun renews the field. It does not always lift burdens instantly. It lifts them enough to let the breath lengthen. That is enough to begin again. The change arrives in the small exchanges of mercy and sleep and steady words. Tonight I read to you as I read to her. The voice is low. The page is warm. The text is a soft thing to hold. Listen not for instruction, but for company. Let the words sit where you feel the tightness most. Let them be like a blanket placed over a weary shoulder. Receive what can be received. Before I close this part, I ask a simple thing. Choose one small practice tonight. It need not be novel. It can be the line you read again and again. It can be a scrap of paper with 3 small mercies. It can be a cup warmed and set by the bed. Choose what feels possible. Do that one thing. Let it be the small root for tomorrow. The story of renewal does not promise a life without ache. It promises hands that hold when ache arrives. It promises words that steady. It promises mornings that return mercy. The renewal is patient. It is daily. It trusts small discipline more than grand gesture. I keep my voice slow as the lamp lowers. The night attends. The friend's steps are ordinary and faithful. She continues to walk. Not because everything is settled, but because the daily mercies teach her to rise. She knows now how to place one burden down for the night. She knows how to open the book and let a short phrase settle into the chest. She knows that God's love renews us each day, like the tide finding the shore. As the lamp dips, I fold the page and let the hush widen. In a moment I will speak a short blessing. The blessing is small and sure. It will not try to fix every loss. It will offer a hand to steady the night. When you are ready, breathe with me once more. Inhale slowly. Exhale long. Keep the image of that friend's quiet lamp in your mind. Let the story be a companion as the room grows still. Now we prepare to move into the final blessing. The words there will be shaped like a benediction, gentle, unhurried, and meant to rest on the chest. When the blessing comes, accept it as a small gift. Let it sit beside the heart. Let mercy do its slow work. The night keeps watch. The morning waits with renewed mercy. For now, rest. I close the book with a careful hand. The lamp leans lower. The room grows ready. Breath slows. The final hour is gentle now. I stay where the light falls. I keep my voice small. Tonight I read to you as I have all these evenings. I am the one who reads the Bible before sleep. I read slowly. I read for rest. The words I bring are shaped like a lullaby. They are meant to settle the chest. They are meant to steady the thoughts that circle. Listen, with the ears of someone who has been walking and now sits down. Feel the chair or bed beneath. Let the weight be honest. We do not rush. Hyper. We let rest begin. A short passage lives in my mind. I shape it into soft speech. It says that a presence is near. That presence stays close to the weary. It promises care without counting faults. I offer those words now as a paraphrase. A quiet gift. Imagine them as a small flame. It does not blind. It only warms. Breathe with me. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. Each out-breath loosens a muscle. Each long release tells the body that the night is safe. Repeat this 3 times. Let the pattern be a steady drum under the heart. Place a hand over the sternum. Let the other hand rest on top of it. Feel the slight rise and fall beneath your palms. Picture a soft light gathering there. The light is not bright. It is a dim, steady glow. It represents presence. It represents care that does not demand proof. I describe a simple image. Picture a small room with a low lamp. The lamp is not showy. It is faithful. It keeps watch. Outside the window, the stars are patient. A quiet presence stands at the doorway. The presence does not burst in. It steps gently toward the bedside and lays a hand on the shoulder. That hand stays. There is no need to speak. Sitting like that is enough. Think of peace as a shield that is also a blanket. It guards the heart. It softens the edges of fear. It does not make the world vanish. It changes how the chest receives the world. The halo of calm settles around the ribs. The jaw loosens. Sleep can come without the mind being asked to solve everything first. I read a short line that I hold close. You are not alone. The line is not a command. It is a fact offered softly. Let it be the last sound before thought returns to its softer center. Let it counter the inner voice that believes solitude equals danger. Solitude can be a room where care is present. If a worry comes to visit, greet it like a traveler passing through the hall. Notice its shape. Give it a name with one quiet word. Place it on a small table in the mind. Do not carry it to the pillow. Let the table keep it for now. We will see it in the morning with clearer eyes. Tonight the hands are allowed to relax. There is mercy in small gestures. A cup warmed for the hands. A blanket folded over the knees. A friend who listens without fixing. These small acts are holy in their plainness. They teach the body that help can be simple and kind. Let that teaching sink in as a slow lesson. I offer a short practice for the coming minutes. Close your eyes if that helps. Imagine a soft wind moving across a quiet field. The wind does not rush. It moves in long strokes. It passes over the place where the mind holds sharp things. The wind gently lifts them and lays them elsewhere. Watch them drift. You do not chase them. You let them go. Now I speak a brief paraphrase of Scripture. As a benediction, hear it as a lullaby rather than an argument. The words say that God surrounds you with love and presence. They promise a peace that watches over the heart and the mind. Receive that promise like a blanket. Let it rest where the breath moves. Lay one small intention for the morning in the palm of your mind. Keep it tiny. A single step, a short phone call, a cup warmed with time. This is not a list of demands. It is a single light to guide the first movement. Place it gently. Then fold the hands and let the light rest. If regret or sorrow knocks harder, do a simple ritual. Breathe in and name it once. Breathe out and picture placing it in a small box on a shelf. Close the lid for now. Promise to open it when the day is full of light. The act of placing is not forgetting. It is a practical kindness to the body that needs sleep. There is a tenderness to being held by a presence that does not judge. Permit that tenderness to touch the shoulders. Permit a small thaw in places that have been rigid. Let the chest gain a millimeter of room with every breath. Those millimeters add up. They make space for repair. I slow my voice even more. The room leans in. The lamp throws a thinner pool of light. Hold the image of a hand on the shoulder. Feel its warmth. It will not let go without cause. It is steady through the dark hours. It will remain when the mind wanders into the fierce places. Now hear again the words that guide these nights. I speak them simply. God surrounds you with his love and presence. May his peace guard your hearts and minds tonight, granting you a restful sleep and a renewed spirit with each morning light. Let the sentence fall where the breath is deepest. Let its edges be soft. Let it be enough. Keep the hands where they are. Let the palms be a nest. Imagine the phrase as a small stone, warmed by the lamp. The stone does not weigh you down. It warms the place beneath the hands so the body can loosen. If tears come, let them fall. They are part of the night's clearing. I offer a last, tiny practice. Think of a single phrase to carry into morning. It need not be grand. Perhaps one small step. Perhaps mercy meets morning. Whisper it inwardly once. Hold it like a token. Tuck it into the side pocket of the night. It will be there when the light finds your window. There is a comfort in routine. Let this hour be one such routine. When sleep resists, return to the breath. Return to the lamp. Return to the tiny phrase. Repeat the practice without urgency. The repeated small acts are what steady the soul. Habits of rest are kind skills. They grow with patient repetition. If waking comes in the middle of night, do not judge the waking. Use the same gentle motions. Breathe. Name a small worry. Place it on the imaginary shelf. Return the hands to the chest. The steady presence does not leave. It keeps its gentle hold. I lower the book now. The page closes like a quiet eyelid. My hand rests on the cover for a moment. The lamp will go dim when you are ready. I will not hurry the end. I stay in the hush, keeping watch in the same slow rhythm that has guided us together. Before the light goes, accept one final blessing from my voice and from the quiet words I read. May the night be kind. May it fill the cracks with rest. May the dawn bring a small mercy that feels like a gentle knock at the door. When morning comes, let the chest answer with a simple yes. Rest now. Let the breath set its steady beat. Let the hands lie open and warm. Trust that you are held. Trust that the peace spoken here will do its work as you sleep. I remain a soft voice until your breathing steadies. Then I leave you in that careful watch. Good night.